So here's a quick story that once again points out and proves why a guy must take his time with his girl and really take a lot of time to get to know her before even considering marrying her. Easily 5 years before you marry her. Otherwise, you have no idea what you're dealing with, how people can pretty much hide their true personality and who they are for a while during the so-called honeymoon period. Guys are rushing into relationships, and then they find out who she really is and are heartbroken and say, she changed. And it's like, no, she didn't. She's just giving you a big act. And in this one here, this guy finds that he marries this gal after 9 months of knowing her, and lo and behold, finds out she's a big giant cheater and pregnant with somebody else's child. Title: Wife cheated, got pregnant, and left me for another man. He says, so for starters, I met my wife in January/February of 2021 and got married in October 2021. Smack! You knew your wife for what, like 9 or 10 months and you married her? Are you out of your mind? One night, after I came home from work, at the time I worked from 3 to 11 p.m., she told me that she was pregnant. I ended up marrying her not only for the child, but because I genuinely did love her and want to spend the rest of my life with her. DNA test, dude. I know I necessarily didn't have to marry her to be there for her and the child, but I felt like it showed that I cared and was taking up the responsibility. Sadly, we had a miscarriage along the way. Just because a gal's pregnant doesn't mean you gotta marry her. This isn't the old days. We spent basically all our time together ever since. The only time we spent apart were for business trips. I love spending time with her and just love being around her. She was so kind, caring, funny, and supportive. Yeah, let's see how kind and caring and supportive she is. She ended up deploying earlier this year in March. This was the first time we actually had to spend a decent amount of time away from each other. However, I felt like we had a strong enough bond to get through this. You don't marry while you're in the military, and you probably, as a guy, shouldn't marry a chick in the military, and I've done countless videos on this. Everything was going good around the first half of the deployment until right around July, when she started giving me weird vibes. Just felt distant and always busy. I asked her what was going on, and she said that she had been feeling like she feels like she wants to see other people, but stated that she wants to be with me and that she loves me. We got married to be together, the two of us, and all of a sudden now you want to see other people? Well, dude, this is what happens when you know some chick for 9 months and marry her. Well, actually, you don't know her. That you're barely getting through the honeymoon phase. At that instant, I should have said something that was wrong, but I trusted her. Smack! No, that was the grounds for divorce, because obviously it's not working. She then mentioned that she had been hanging out with a coworker that I never heard of. She told me he was just a friend. Also another red flag that I should have read, but again chose to trust her. Smack! When women bring up guys out of nowhere, that's usually a sign saying this is your replacement. This is why women get so upset when men mention other women, even though the guy has no interest in the woman at all. He could be literally talking about his work, and he can offhand mention his the administrative assistant, the secretary, and all of a sudden the gal's like, "What? Are you effing her?" And he'd be like, "Baby, she's 75 years old and weighs 450 pounds. No, I'm not effing her." But you bring up another woman, she instantly thinks, you get my point. So that's why when a gal brings up a guy, that's something to pay attention to. In August, she told me she'd been cheating on me and wanted a divorce when she returned. Sorry that happened, but not surprised. When she's telling you she wants to see other people, I've been thinking about seeing other people, that's usually time to, jump ship. At that time, I tried fighting for the marriage. Smack! She's cheating on you and you want to fight for the marriage? She ain't fighting for the marriage. But now I feel like a fool trying to say something that was guaranteed to fail. She had told me that she just didn't love me anymore and loved another guy, her coworker. Okay, what else is there that to convince you otherwise? It's over. Have some self-respect, dude. And by the way, if she's in the military and she's cheating, that's a big no-no, which can get her in a whole lot of trouble if you decide to pursue that. She got back in October and started the divorce process. I tried dragging out as much as possible to see if anything would change or something would pop up that would benefit me. However, nothing happened and the divorce was finalized in November. Bro, you should be doing cartwheels. Fireworks should be going off in the sky because you're rid of her. Throughout this whole ordeal, she had treated me like I was the villain. Well, of course she did. She didn't want to talk to me and was very rude to me when I did interact and try with her. She rushed the divorce, which made me wonder if she had something she was hiding. Dude, of course she was hiding something. I'm sure there are many things that were hiding. Come to find out, though, that one of her now former friends is that she actually did get pregnant while she was deployed. It sucks to say this, but it hurt a lot to hear it. I felt like I was finally accepting it and moving on, but this information sent me back a couple of paces. I was also informed that she had given up on her dream of being in the military to live with this guy in another state as a stay-at-home mom while he works in his family business. So this guy obviously had more prospects than you. Based off her friend is that my ex wasn't who she remembered her to be. These two had known each other since middle school and were very close. Upon hearing about the infidelity, her friend tried to talk to my ex about it, but she wasn't listening to her. After the divorce, she tried introducing her affair partner to her, but the friend denied and told her what she did was wrong and did not support the relationship. Since then, the two of them don't really talk anymore. The woman I once knew was undeniably changed, as I no longer recognized her. Dude, she didn't change. This is who she was all along. She was putting on a show for you. And if you were with her longer than 9 months, you eventually would have saw the real her. That's why I don't rush into relationships. She had given up everything to be with this man, and her personality pulled a 180. I'm generally disappointed in her for choosing to go down this path. It's so hard to comprehend her decisions. How can someone just change like that? Why choose to do this all for one person? Bro, she didn't change. She just put on a show for you. That is the lesson of this story. This is why you don't rush into relationships. You take your time. You're going to marry somebody, 5 years minimum. And a lot of people disagree with me. Fine. Go ahead and don't go ahead and rush into a marriage. You'll see how bad it turns out. People can fake who they are for a while, but eventually their real personality comes out. And you're also obviously young. You don't get involved with someone that's in the military. It's a bad idea, particularly if the guy's in the military and she's back home. You all know those stories here. But women can put up a big act, and it's really sad, but that's what happens. And I think it's great, at least, that her friend wants nothing to do with her anymore, and her friend obviously didn't know her either. But something tells me karma's going to come back to bite her in the butt. It just tends to work that way. But this guy considers himself that he's young, he's lucky that it ended, it's divorced. But again, he could have made trouble for her if he wanted to, because that she was cheating, that could have gotten back to those in charge of her, and the military sees that as a big giant no-no. So, lesson for us all, guys, you take your time getting to know your girl, you don't rush into marriage, etc., etc. And real quick, I'm going to read a few comments to wrap this up. This guy says, dude, report her to her commanding officer. That shit is highly frowned in the military. Pay her back in kind. All right. Although she's out of the military now, supposedly. Another guy says here, it probably doesn't matter why she changed. What matters is that she's a liar and a cheater, and you're lucky to be rid of her, even if it hurts right now. When her life implodes, as it inevitably will, she'll come crawling back to you. When that happens, don't take her back. She doesn't love or respect you. She probably never did. At least not as mentally healthy adults should. Good luck and stay strong. Yeah, if things implode, I guarantee you she'll be coming back. And she'll want him to raise this dude's baby. And if this guy doesn't learn anything, he'll fall for it. One more. The guy says, contact her commander immediately. Military personnel cheating is very frowned upon and punishable under USMJ. Chances are she will get the BCD, bad conduct discharge, and immediately booted from duty. Along with that, her fellow cheater will also feel the same wrath. If you are unsure of who to call, you can call the base directly and talk to the MPs at the front gate. There's probably a JAG office that will be very interested. Bring proof. I had a friend years ago in the Coast Guard. He was the captain of the ship. I think it's called the Cutter. I believe so. And yeah, he told me stories that guys would, if they got busted cheating, they were in deep crap. And it's amazing how that takes place. But at the end of the day, the military wants order. And when there's cheating and turmoil going on, they frown upon that. And I've heard some stories. But anyhow, like I said, the lesson is don't rush into relationships. Take your time. And a lot of people will put on a show and it's not who they really are. And men are always shocked, like, she changed. No, she didn't. That's who she really is. You just didn't give her enough time to get to know her to see who she really was. So hopefully he learns.